Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteToday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, mid-engine-corvetteforum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at mid-engine-corvetteforum.com. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and Canadian CorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. It's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is here every other week. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. Buddy, you know, just when you think things are going to die down, we have got a packed show of great information for everybody.
And it's crazy, you know, it's not just news from one source. It's the world of Corvette. Sometimes it just sort of coalesces and drops multiple stories out of the sky at one time. And that's what's really happened with the last 2 weeks. We've got some great stories from various aspects of the Corvette hobby, and I'm really looking forward to getting to it.
You and me both, buddy. Well, let's start off like we always do with an update about production at the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
We discussed the last time we were here, you know, the 2024 Stingray started production on September 18th, but the Z06s didn't officially start until the week of October 3rd. And the latest report we have shows that there have already 2,700 new Stingrays produced, and there's another 391 Corvette Z06s also completed. They're building like 50 to 60 Z06s per day right now.
Wow.
Even though we hear about supply chain issues and stuff, if you've got a car with no constraints, they want to build it. And they've been building, like I said, around 55 or so each day. You know, we're at the halfway point for October, and already there's more than 3,000 Corvettes that have already been produced for the 2024 model year. Kind of picking up right where we left off there in terms of production-wise. We don't have any E-Rays being done yet. You know, they were supposed to start the week of October 23rd. What's really interesting is that when those first orders went in, last time we talked into that GM order bank, the earliest TPWs, the targeted production weeks, which again, targeted, not, you know, set in stone.
Right.
But we're seeing December 4th as the earliest so far. Shane at the Corvette Museum, when asked about it, was told that, you know, it might just be a placeholder. They might actually start earlier. But it does show that there are some certain things being pushed back. It could be strike. It could be supply chain. But it's just a matter of, you know, they want to do the launch right. They're going to start it slow. We're going to see lower numbers. That's really what we're seeing so far production-wise. There was another order cycle that started just last week. You know, what was interesting there is some of the dealers we talked to only got Z06s, but we did talk to a couple dealers that got all 3 cars. They got multiple Z06s, they got multiple Stingrays, and maybe 1 or 2 E-Rays. So it looks like they're kind of filling out that production for that first start of the E-Ray, and then we'll kind of go from there. so far, seems pretty good on the production front. So we're going to keep watching and see what happens.
That sounds good. And related to that, GM delivered 8,400 Corvettes in the third quarter of this year, too.
Yeah, that's a great number. It was 5.9% better than the same time a year ago, which saw 7,900 Corvettes delivered during the third quarter 2022. For the calendar year-to-date sales, Chevrolet has delivered 25,400 Corvettes January 1st through September 30th. So that was a smaller increase, just 0.2%. We're talking only 58 Corvettes difference between 2022 and 2023. These are really some solid numbers for the quarter. Unfortunately, there's that roll of those hundreds of 2023 Corvette Z06s that are still stuck at the plant. They're still waiting to have parts retrofitted. We have a feeling that a lot of that was carbon fiber, and we understand that they are moving those cars out, but it's not really at a great pace. We're hearing, it could be 10, it could be 15, maybe 20 cars a day getting pulled out of that lot with parts and getting them moving on to the next status level. We have a feeling that the total third quarter deliveries could have been closer to 9,000 had those Corvettes had the parts to finish. And it's just one of these things that we're kind of dealing with. But, we'll take, 8,400 cars sold in the quarter. That's a good number.
That really is a good number. But we did have a lot of Corvettes sitting in the yard there at the Bowling Green assembly plant.
Yeah, we broke that story back in September. We had that drone photo from August 28th that showed at least 400 cars parked in that lot.
Right.
I didn't even know where that lot was. I had to go and I pulled up Google Maps and I went to the satellite view, and the Google Maps satellite view for the Corvette plant doesn't even show the new paint factory. It was done probably back in 2017 or 2018, I think.
Wow.
So I had to pull up a third-party satellite company, and then they showed me where that lot was. It was empty at the time that was taken. That seems to have filled up pretty quickly there. We did get a statement back from General Motors. I'll read it here. They say, the industry continues to experience temporary part shortages due to a number of circumstances. Bowling Green has been impacted by this, so we have taken steps to keep production running to meet continued strong demand. As a result, we are building some vehicles without specific parts and will retrofit those vehicles as the parts become available before they are shipped to customers. We are working to resolve these issues as soon as possible. What they call this? They call it build shy, which means basically they're building the car, but they're shy of some parts.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Sure.
It's frustrating for us. I know the people at the plant are frustrated. We understand that call to build shy came down from Detroit. We're wondering if they were chasing records again. There was a huge push to have the most Corvettes ever produced for a model year. That may have been some of it. Of course, as you know, right now, we still don't have the final count for the 2023 model year. So I think we're waiting for these cars to be pushed out of that lot.
Yeah.
One of those Z06s belongs to a customer and a CorvetteBlogger reader named John Seekins. I used him in the story. His Corvette was completed on August 9th. And was still waiting on parts. He says as of October 9th, it's still at 3,800. That's 2 months later after the car originally reached 3,800 status.
Wow.
However, McMulkin has told him that the car has moved towards invoice status, so perhaps he'll finally see it. One of the things that really kind of bothered me about that picture in that lot is the way those cars were parked. Like John's car, he said his car was built August 9th. They are parked in there, nose to tail. So when they go to pull those cars out, they're pulling out the cars that were the last ones in, not the first ones in.
Right.
It's even compounded for those earlier guys that are stuck there waiting. Again, we know GM's working on it. I know it's not an optimal situation. We just hope that they can get these parts and get these cars out of there. We think that was one of the reasons why they delayed 2024 production until October 3rd, was to give a couple weeks for the supply chain to get them some supply to take care of that. We'll have to see what happens there, and we'll keep watching it.
Absolutely. Also, with the new model year, we have new pricing, and GM has raised the price of Corvettes by $2,000, and that was effective at the beginning of this month.
Yeah, this is on top of a price increase that was made between the 2023 and the 2024 model years anyway.
Oh.
And not only that, but, it was a surprise increase. So they get the memo and they say, yeah, all the prices are effective yesterday. So it's not like I can hurry up and get another order in or anything like that.
Right.
Speaking of the orders, we are told that orders in the system at 1,100 may have some price protection. We've seen this before, having price protected orders, sometimes meaning you got to fight with your dealer to get it because they actually get a rebate back on orders that were price protected, but sometimes they don't remember that. They don't give it on to the customer. And so It ends up being a fight. So I can imagine we're going to see some of that coming up in the next few months.
Yeah, probably.
So all the models went up $2,000. Chevy also increased the destination fee to $1,695. That was another $100. And that was also an increase from, I think it was $1,395 in 2023. So they've already increased the destination fee $300 for the 2024 model year. And again, I think that's a lot of what we're seeing pricing wise. You got fuel costs, inflation, and all that other stuff going on. So that makes sense that they would kind of do that, but it hurts. It's definitely one that stings. Looking at prices, the 1LT Stingray Coupe now costs $69,895 with that transportation fee.
Okay.
Of course, that's 10 grand higher than when they were first announced. The 2020s were announced back in 2019. It's just the cost of doing business. Not only did they raise the model prices, but there was also the price on certain options went up. There was full-length racing stripes. They increased by $200. They're now priced at $1,195. The engine appearance package, this is one of the culprits we think that's holding back some of these 2023 Corvettes. They got a substantial raise. Their pricing went from $995 to $1,495.
Okay.
And then Chevy, this was kind of surprising to me as well, but Chevy increased the prices of their carbon fiber wheels for the Z06 and the E-Ray.
Oh.
The carbon flash painted wheels went up $1,000. They're now $11,995. And then the visible carbon fiber wheels are now $13,995. They raised those prices for each of those sets up $1,000.
Yeah.
And then they had that special wheel, the visible carbon wheel with a red stripe around it.
Right.
That is now $15,500 for that set of wheels.
Ugh.
Pretty substantial there. Another thing that we saw too, this was interesting, in the build and price configurator for the 2024 Corvette Stingray, the ground effects in both carbon fiber and visible carbon fiber are now tied to Z51. So the only way you can get those with your order is with Z51.
Okay.
That seems like, again, they're kind of just making sure that the Z51 cars have the required aero. And if you get a base car, a non-Z51, and you want to add a 5VM or a front splitter, you probably end up having to go aftermarket with that. And luckily, there's a lot of aftermarket choices out there for the Stingray.
Yeah.
So we say this is surprise pricing, but the reality is it's just like everything in today's world is costing more with inflation. We got interest rates, we got the cost of fuel. I think buyers are still going to ignore these prices because they waited for the car so long. It's still worth the wait for them.
Yeah.
And if they have to slap down, a couple $1,000s more to get the car, I think we're still going to see that. But what we won't see and what we have seen is that market tightening where the pre-owned Corvettes, those prices are coming down and they're being sold around their MSRP prices or even a little bit less.
Yeah.
The market is finally caught up in that regard, but there is still a huge demand out there for the car.
Absolutely. Also, GM has given us a TechLink article, and they're talking about the C8 transmissions that were a little bit of a problem, weren't they?
Yeah, this technique focuses on the DCT's canister filter and when it should be replaced. GM has changed this a couple times, so it seems like they finally said, look, we're going to put this out again. This is how it should be done. You have a transmission canister filter. It should be replaced at the initial 7,500 miles of the maintenance service schedule. And then after that initial service, the canister filter should be changed at 22,500 miles and then every 22,005 miles afterwards. GM says it's only recommended to replace the filter at the required maintenance intervals due to the loading characteristics of the filter, which means that you don't have to change it earlier than 7,500 miles. A lot of people are like, I'm getting my oil changed at 500. Should I change the canister on the DCT? And Chevy's saying no, because of the way it works, it really shouldn't be changed earlier than 7,500 miles. And in fact, they say if you do change it at 7,500 miles, it should be changed again at 7,500 miles just to keep that maintenance schedule in sequence. GM only covers one filter change in that initial 3-year period, I believe. Keep an eye on that, but they're saying 7,500 miles is when you should change the DCT filter. There's no real benefits to do it beforehand, and it's going to cost you more money if you do it anyway.
Got it.
That's the latest on that. Of course, the other thing, too, about the transmission is that for 2024, the case has been revised a little bit, the transmission case itself. So like Z51, customers no longer have to put the extra 2 liters of transmission fluid into the transmission case itself for track dates and stuff like that.
Nice.
Some of the other things that were causing some of the issues with the transmissions, they think they've got that fixed as well. So we'll keep an eye on that, but that should be really good news.
That's good. And speaking of good news, if you order a 2024 Stingray, you get an increase in fuel economy too.
I remember seeing the Stingrays. We saw a lot of the cars, but we saw the Stingrays with the EPA testing pipes on them a couple times. And it's because they were being recalibrated and retested because they have all this new equipment and stuff on them. The latest data from fueleconomy.gov shows these new ratings for the 2024 Corvette Stingray, and they are 16 mpg city and 25 mpg highway with a 19 mpg combined ratings. We gained that 1 mpg on the highway, went from 24 to 25 between the 2 model years, so that's good. What also we got with this update is the rating for the E-Ray. Of course, it uses the same 6.2 liter LT2 V8, and that vehicle is rated for 16 mpg city and 24 mpg highway with a 19 mpg combined. It's basically the same as it was last year. We're not sure why that is. Of course, it's a larger car, it's a heavier car, it's got bigger tires on it, but then it's also got stop-start technology. Doesn't that help out somewhere?
Yeah.
So it's a little surprising. We think that the city numbers would actually be a little bit better due to the hybrid all-wheel drive system. But again, with all the other factors, EPA is probably being a little bit conservative and just rating it the way it was. Again, good news. And like I said, that's a lot of news to come out just in a couple week intervals there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, buddy. Our news and headlines is packed. Now, if you thought that was good, just wait till you hear our second segment on Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. That is coming up next on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome, with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Hi, I'm Phil Pataki with Car Capsule. Our new signature model comes with a carbon fiber look floor with double stitching and zipper pulls for easy up and down, easy access. We have our LED light kit with a remote control, and of course we have the IntelliCharger that actually integrates with this car and many other cars. We preserve and protect and present the finest vehicles in the world, and yours is next. Check us out at carcapsule.com.
The Radiator Grill Store offers C8 Corvette A-pillar wind diffusers in beautiful carbon fiber or OEM gloss black that help reduce wind buffeting when a window is open. Easy installation and OEM fitment. Plus, get 10% off your total purchase with the promo code CT10 at radiatorgrillstore.com.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. We've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at ClassicTrimCustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
You're enjoying the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today.
Hey, thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call them 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you current and up to date every other week on what's happening with Corvette. In the second segment, we always talk about Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. And Keith, it's another big segment. First of all, let's talk about Corvette racing at Petit Le Mans.
Yeah, again, we're in a situation where we are recording this prior to the running of Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta. This is kind of a bittersweet moment. It's obviously the end of the 25th year for Corvette racing. A lot of big changes coming up. For the season, we're looking at most likely coming in second place in the championship. The leading number 14 Lexus only needs to start the race to have the points to win outright. Looks like they pretty much have got this thing wrapped up. As long as they start the race, they should have the championship. This is also the last race for the C8R. The C8R first started in 2020 in January at the Rolex 24. Obviously, it's been a really good car. The drivers have enjoyed driving it. A little hampered by BOP, of course, and some of the other things that always go on in our series, but it's been a really good car, and it's the one race is definitely. That car is going to be replaced in January with the new Z06 GT3R, and of course, we had the new GT3 global realignment sort of going on around that as well. And of course, it's the last race for Jordan Taylor, who's going to return to prototype racing with his family's team at Wayne Taylor Racing. So a lot of things all coming to a head this weekend. Kind of wish we were there. Road Atlanta is a great place to watch a race, and of course, it's a 10-hour race. They race into the darkness, which is always fun. A lot of things happening there. A we'll be back in January with the Rolex 24 with the new Z06 GT3R. And in fact, there'll be a lot of them. Still good news there, but always kind of sad to see a teammate leave, see a car get retired. The funny thing is these cars always end up on like a different racing vintage series and the historical series. So we'll see these C8Rs out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the GT3R because we're going to talk about that some more in a minute. But I'm also glad you talked about Jordan Taylor because he really likes the C8R. He talked about that too.
Yeah, he did say it was a difficult decision, especially with the way that the ratings have gone for the car. He was racing prototypes before moving to Corvette racing. There you're going for the overall win. Our cars are not going to race at Le Mans anymore, most likely. The cars that he's racing with could get an invite to Le Mans. So, there's a lot of those reasons. Of course, racing with his family, with his brother, his dad are also important to him. So, yeah, it's sad to see him go, but, the memes will live on.
Yes, he talked about that. He's going back to NASCAR with Xfinity Racing, isn't he?
Yeah, he did that. He just raced there last week at the Charlotte Roval with Colleague Racing in the Xfinity Series. He started P12 and ended up finishing P16. Said it was a good race. What also happened that weekend was he actually got to do a couple laps in the NASCAR Garage 56 Le Mans Racer. The crowd went crazy for it. He laid down this huge burnout on the Roval. Really cool stuff there from Jordan's.
We're going to miss him, that's for sure. Talking about GT3Rs, there's a team called DXDT Racing, and they're going to run 2 GT3Rs in the GT World Challenge America Series.
Yeah, this was kind of like the final announcement for 2024 and all the things that the Z06 GT3 is where it's going to be at. This is going to run in the GT World Challenge America Series for both 2024 and 2025. DXTT, they've kind of made their mark. They've been racing with Mercedes, and they'll actually start the season with 2 Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evos before switching over to the Corvette sometimes after the season opener in April at Sonoma. They're pretty excited about the car. Of course, that's kind of one of the big draws of switching to the new cars. Not only do you get this brand new car, but it's the team behind it. And of course, 25 years of Corvette racing and Pratt & Miller Motorsports really solidifying the legend of Corvettes racing and sports cars. So a lot of people want to be part of that. So it's really good to see them there. To recap, there's going to be 8 Z06 GT3Rs competing worldwide next year.
Wow.
So we have the 2-car effort from DXTT. We've got 4 of them in IMSA. So Pratt & Miller is running 2 cars in GTD Pro, while AWA Racing will have the 2 cars in the GTD amateur class. And then over in Europe in the FIA World Endurance Championship, the British team TF Sport, they've got 2 cars in the GT3 class there as well. So 8 cars worldwide really offers the opportunity to find your favorite team. You can root for teams now both in the pro and the amateur classes. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it.
That's a nice offering. That's really cool because we got pro and amateur and worldwide. That sounds like we're covering all the bases. Also, Keith, with our rumor section, wow, the ZR1 prototype was spotted in Germany, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much the biggest news of the week was the on-track reveal of the Corvette ZR1 at the Nürburgring. Not only do we see the car over there, but it shed its black heavy camo, and it really revealed a number of differences between the Z06 and the E-Ray. We've seen it testing stateside in the black camo with the Z06 wing, and, you really can't see the stuff that's underneath that. But once they took that off, we see that engineers are using an air extractor on the front hood for the first time, much like on that Z06 GT3 race car. The rear fenders also have air scoops both on the top and then the side intake spear trim like we see on the Z06. That spear trim, that wishbone, has been replaced with what looks like another air scoop leading towards the back there. We have to really think that these are turbocharged cars. We don't see the vertically mounted radiator in the front corner of the cooling for the all-wheel drive system like we do on the E-Rays. And then cars that race at the ring, they're hybrids. They have a special sticker so that if there's any kind of incident, the emergency crews know that this is a hybrid powertrain, and then they take the appropriate steps to protect themselves as well as the drivers. We don't see that sticker on the car anywhere, so we definitely believe that it's a turbocharged car. There's also a new huge wing for the ZR1. If you look at that wing head on, it appears to be straight, but the photos of the Corvette ZR1 for the side show that that curve follows the shape of the rear hatch, just like the Z06 wing does. It messes with your eyes a little bit because it looks like a flat, straight board when you're looking at it head on.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy there. Our sources have confirmed to us that the Corvette ZR1 will be coming in 2025. However, the rumor is that Chevy has sort of been going back and forth. There was meetings. People came down from Detroit to Bowling Green. It was up in the air until that meeting. They said, we're going to try for 2025. It's still quite possible that with a UAW strike, You got carbon fiber supply chain issues. We could see this car push back to 2026. It's not set in stone by any means. Stay tuned. We'll bring you the latest news from the ZR1. We think it's going to be over there for at least another week, and we're hoping for some really good stuff to come out of it. We got a spy photographer over there who's feeding us information. As of last week, we know there was rain all day Thursday. We don't think the cars got out at all. So we're just watching, see what happens. Hopefully we'll have some more on-track action happening from the Nürburgring.
I can't wait, buddy. The ZR1 looks awesome. Well, let's take our final break, Keith. When we come back, it's the lighter side of Corvette on deck next, here on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25. And every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
You're listening to the Corvette Today podcast with Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. It's brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best, right? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Don't forget, if you want a deeper dive into any of these stories that Keith and I cover on this show, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. In our final segment, we always cover the lighter side of Corvette. Keith, this was a neat story, kind of one of our feel-good stories. The first 2024 C8 Stingray, VIN number 1, was delivered at the National Corvette Museum.
Yeah, they kicked off production of the Stingrays on September 18th, and VIN 001 Corvette was delivered via the R8C program at the National Corvette Museum, I believe on the very last day of the month, on the 30th of September. Interestingly, the car was a replacement for its owners. They had a 2019 Corvette that was damaged in the storm. I guess it was a pretty significant storm if they lost their car. But the car was insured by our friends at the NCM Insurance Agency, which covered their loss and allowed them to quickly move to the C8 platform. We've seen this before a couple times where a car's gotten damaged or something. All of a sudden, that person does get that VIN 1. I think we saw that with the 2021 car where a guy had some engine problems and he got the VIN 001 for a Stingray as a replacement. So Congratulations to these people. They did a great program at the R8C. There's great pictures that show the car. It's validation to see that first car delivered. And now we're off. Now we have 3,000 cars already built for the 2024 model year so far.
Yeah, that's great. We're off and running with 2024 cars, that's for sure. This is also really cool. Actor John Goodman has a C1 Corvette. It's a 60, and it's up for auction, isn't it?
Yeah, I always thought it'd be kind of cool to own a car formerly owned by a celebrity.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be a cool celebrity, you know? It couldn't be just anybody. But,
right.
I mean, this is a cool car. This is a black 1960 Corvette with silver coves. I mean, just a fantastic addition to anyone's garage. And not only does the car look good, but it's a numbers-matching, fuel-injected 283, 290 horsepower Fuelie with a 4-speed manual transmission. It's a great-looking car. It's going to be sold at the GAA November auction, November 2nd through 4th in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're actually going to have a feature coming up on that auction here. They got some really cool cars running through there. So stay tuned to CorvetteBlogger on that.
That sounds good. Also, the NCM Motorsports Park and Mobile One are teaming up to offer a women's HPDE coming up on October 21st.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. They're going to have a team of professional instructors out there joining forces with female participants. They'll all get a ride on the 3.2-mile NCM Motorsports Park in Bowling Green. Pretty cool here. And again, it's just the idea to get women more behind the wheel and get them doing stuff with motorsports. Our friend, the Women in Motorsports North America, Cindy Sisson and some other people have really ramped up efforts to get women to participate in some of these stuff. So good for them. Glad to have them there. And of course, Mobile One, anytime you can do anything with them, it's pretty cool as well.
Definitely. Also, this is really cool. You know, Carbon Revolution makes the carbon fiber wheels for the E-Ray and the Z06. Well, Bob Lutz, a former GM executive, is now joining their board of directors.
Yeah, always cool. Bob Lutz, I always remember Jalopnik. His nickname at Jalopnik was Maximum Bob Lutz. He owns a fighter jet that he used to fly around, and he'd do interviews wearing the fighter suit and stuff. Just a maverick as far as Mavericks go. He's actually joining the board of Carbon Revolution. Now, this is an Australian company. They're doing a reverse merger, and they're going to end up on the New York Stock Exchange. They're thinking that merger will be completed this month. For people that are interested, the current ticker is TRCA, the Twin Ridge Capital Acquisition Corporation. It's a SPAC, so they're doing a reverse merger into that holding company there. And then they're going to be on the New York Stock Exchange. So if you want to support Corvette Z06 and maybe own a little bit of a company that provides carbon fiber wheels, and we know how expensive those carbon fiber wheels are.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing, too, is carbon fiber wheels just aren't for sports cars and high-end cars. They're actually looking at creating a low-cost version because of the weight it sheds for use on like hybrids and electric cars where the fuel economy is really all important. Good for Bob. I mean, they're getting great leadership for Carbon Revolution. Another investment opportunity for those interested in investing in their cars.
Yeah. Did somebody say carbon fiber?
Yeah. And they have a lot of carbon fiber.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. And our final story, Keith, as of last Friday, the E-Ray reviews are out and they're in all the big magazines.
Yeah, everybody's got them. We know that Savage Geese has got a big one coming out. We're looking forward to that. Of course, we're recording this right now, and when normally I would be on all these reviews going crazy and gaga and all this stuff. So very excited to see all these. We're going to have a running list. I know our friends over at the MidEngineCorvetteForum.com have got a running list of reviews. So if you've got an E-Ray, this is going to be a fun weekend for you.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, buddy, thank you so much for being back on Corvette Today. It's always the highlight of my month when we get to do our news and headline shows.
Thanks, Steve. Well, you know, and especially when we have so much news to talk about, that's what makes it really fun. And it's news from everywhere. It's rumors, it's racing. We've got pricing information. We've got production stuff happening. All aspects of the Corvette Nation should be filled up right now, hopefully, with all this stuff. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks to do it all again.
Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today. And please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors. Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.